I found some paperwork.
Making a movie?
Yeah.
Oh.
Kind of like kind of a short documentary. If I could find my paperwork, shit, sorry.
Is your camera on?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes. If I don't rip it up. Do you know what ordinance 10.38.010 is?
I can look. What is it?
It's Las Vegas Code Ordinance 10.38.010.
Roosters?
No. It's a spitting ordinance. 10.38.010.
Mine says keep your roosters.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay. See, I come up with different stuff, but I thought I'd ask one of the officers and see if you've ever arrested anybody.
It's like cockfighting and stuff.
Oh, okay. Yeah. See, I went on elaws.us. Is spitting on the sidewalk here in Las Vegas a misdemeanor or infraction?
Yes, on the sidewalk.
Is it an arrestable offense?
Well, anything in the city of Las Vegas is an arrestable offense.
Oh, okay. So even spitting on the sidewalk?
Yes.
Okay. Have you ever yourself arrested anybody for that? Oh, you have?
Yeah.
Okay. Is there any discussion on that? Do you guys have discretion on whether or not to prosecute or arrest someone for that charge?
Yes.
Okay. And what's the reason typically to arrest somebody for that?
What do you mean?
Like what's the emergency there? Like why arrest someone who spits on the sidewalk? Is it a secondary charge, or you see someone spitting on the sidewalk, hey, you broke the law, you go to jail?
It's situational.
Situational?
It's like any other misdemeanor offense committed in the city of Las Vegas.
Gotcha.
All right, unless there's a victim, like a battery or an assault, then the battery of the assault has to have a victim that is willing to cooperate with pressing charges.
Right. Okay.
So for offenses like that, it would be the city of Las Vegas which would pursue the charge, which we are acting on behalf of the city of Las Vegas.
Gotcha. And you don't think that ordinance is a little bit out of control? I mean, to me, I would think...
Did you know there's a law that you have to use both hands to ride your bicycle?
Right, unless there's, like, let's say it's unsafe to take, to signal. Yeah. Like, and it's unsafe turn. Yeah, I'm aware of that.
Yeah.
But my question is, all police officers have an oath to the U.S. Constitution and state constitution. And it's just sad that we live in a society where a bunch of lawmakers get to pass laws and then give you guys the responsibility to go out and enforce them. So I'm just saying that you being, it says partners with the community, would probably, I mean, if I was in your shoes, I'd probably be like, I'm not enforcing that law at all because it's unconstitutional. My oath is first to the people and the Constitution, not to arbitrary written rules by a bunch of guys in suits who will never meet. You know, I think that the last line of defense is for righteous people to stand up and do what's right. And I've been to the city jails, I've been to the county jails, and I met people who have been locked up for that charge, and I couldn't believe it. I didn't believe them at all. I thought it was kind of silly. And to me, that's kind of I hate to compare it, but remember history. Remember that guy with that tiny mustache that locked up all those people, 6 million people. He murdered 6 million people. You know, tyranny is a gradual process. Tyranny doesn't happen overnight. It's a gradual process, and I think laws like this on the books are what make way for tyranny to reign.
Ordinances like that have been around for a very long time.
Right.
What do you do?
I'm a videographer, photographer.
What did you used to do?
What did I used to do?
Yeah.
I've done sales, marketing. I've done security. I've done security work before. Yeah. But yeah, like I said, I know right from wrong. I know that in order for us to remain as a free society, we have to have laws that really protect people and private property. When we have legislators in office who are just interested in their pockets getting fuller and passing more laws that are easy to break, then it becomes we become a tyrannical society. And yes, you're right. That law was passed many years ago, but the purpose of that law was so that women who wore those long dresses back in the 1920s and 1918s, early 1900s, their dresses wouldn't go over the spit that's on the sidewalk. That was the purpose of it. And yet we still have
In
it.
response to that, though, the Second Amendment. Okay, when they made the Second Amendment, they referred to muskets. Do you think we should be able to have assault rifles?
Well, actually, they were.
AR-15s,
Well,
AK-47s.
well,
We shouldn't be able to have those.
Yes,
'Cause they made-
absolutely.
We should, right?
Yeah, we should.
We should. Those laws, they don't age. They're as applicable as they are, as they're treated in the time that they're being enforced. Okay? Just like the Second Amendment, just because it was created when we didn't have magazine-fed weapons,
Right.
okay, doesn't matter. It's the Second Amendment,
Right.
right?
Right.
It doesn't have to be changed to apply to today, just like spitting on the sidewalk. Okay, spitting on the sidewalk it's a tool. Okay, it's a tool for us to be able to have a reason to speak to someone who we think is up to no good. Okay, and that gives us a legal and lawful reason to stop that guy and see what they're doing with probable cause, as opposed to just assuming they're doing something wrong, thinking they're doing something wrong. Because we all know it's not what you know, it's what you can prove, right? And the way the laws work, the way the legal system works, is we have to work very intricately to be able to solidify and identify crime for the most part. Okay, no one's gonna go and, not always, not often, but bad guys aren't going to go and do bad guy stuff right in front of us.
Right.
We have to be able to have a reason to stop that bad guy for any reason we need to identify and be able to look more into
I know what you're saying.
everything else.
I know what you're saying.
So say homeboy just broke into a car down here,
Yeah.
okay, and he's walking around, these stores are closed, okay, I can't stop him just because he's walking around here looking suspicious, right? I
Right,
could,
right.
but that's going to just spook him, and if I do a consensual stop on him, he can leave whenever he wants. So why not have a legal and lawful reason to detain him and identify him and understand what he's doing, and then break through all those lies that he's going to give me until maybe I can determine, yeah, he was the guy that broke into that car.
Right.
Okay, so it's a stepping system, it's a tool.
I feel you.
Cool.
And see that I'm glad you touched on that, because then we go into the question, well, okay, is this law truly just? Is it okay? Back when our founding fathers wrote the Constitution and they wrote the Fourth Amendment, the Fourth Amendment was the right to be left alone, pretty much, the right to privacy, the right to be left alone from anyone who wants to infringe on your privacy.
Yeah.
Now, if I spit on the sidewalk, now back in 1776. They wanted to prevent soldiers, redcoats, from going into homes or pestering you to know your business. So because
Third Amendment.
redcoats, you're right, that's the quartering of troops. But also was to prevent them from just writing self-written warrants and messing. That there had to be a victim, there had to be a crime, and that law right there, you're saying spitting on there gives you a reason to get to them because they might be a bad guy. So that we're losing the presumption of innocence now. But then also, we have to give up certain liberties just to feel a little sense of security. Yes, homeboy across the street probably broke into a car. He might have done all that, but I'm not willing to allow that law to exist, because then if I allow the police and legislators to tear down the Constitution to get to the evil guy, what's to keep evil from turning around and getting me once we have no Constitution protecting us? The Constitution was meant to keep government in check, to keep government agents in check. Yes, it's difficult for you to find the bad guy, but the burden of proof lies on the government, and the burden of the presumption of innocence lives within us all. So if I have a loogie, I spit, where's really the crime in that? Where's really the crime? So how many rights do you have to violate with that ordinance just to get to that one bad guy?
See, I don't think you understand it from the perception of the legal system, and specifically from law enforcement. I don't think you understand. I think what would really benefit you is to do a ride-along.
Okay.
I really think you would, honestly, because you seem really open and you seem really, approachable. Okay? Otherwise, I mean, because I don't know if you're a sovereign citizen or any of that stuff. Normally, when someone walks up to me with a camera and they start asking me good questions, I'm just gonna leave, because I mean, I'm not required to sit here and talk to you.
Right. I know.
But you've been really cool. And it's actually been an interesting conversation.
Yeah.
So I mean, why not? I'm not super happy about the camera. I really hope I'm not on YouTube. But I mean, honestly, if you want to have a better understanding of law enforcement, you have to have an experience of it.
Right.
Because there's so much more that goes on than what you or the general public see, because we don't let you see it.
Well, that's why I have
because
the
that
camera.
maintains your innocence.
Right.
Okay?
And I
That
understand.
maintains your standard of living, which is worry about your own problems. You shouldn't have to worry about the evil that's out here. Because I'm going to tell you, man, it's evil out here.
Yeah, oh yeah. I've been in this town for 20 years,
The
yeah.
most disgusting people who have done the most disgusting things.
I'm aware
They
of that,
exist,
yeah.
and they are everywhere, and they will
Right.
victimize anybody without hesitation.
And like I said, I know evil exists. I know it's everywhere. I've seen it myself. I've done a lot of gang intervention. I grew up here in Las Vegas. I've seen the gangs. I've seen the ugliness of people, of human beings. But I'm not willing to give up certain liberties just so others can feel a little sense of security. I would rather experience dangerous freedom than peaceful slavery any day. And you mentioned the Second Amendment. The Second Amendment, it says, is a right. The right to keep and bear arms shall not be infringed. Now we have our legislators that converted it into a privilege. Now, if I wanted to carry my firearm, my property, which I acquired through my labor, my wealth, and I purchased it, I have to go down to the sheriff's office or police station and ask permission to carry my property. So to me, that you're converting a right into a privilege, which is totally unconstitutional. And then we have people in legislative branch, and then also police officers that saying it's necessary to keep it out of the hands of the bad guys. You're an officer. I'm sure you've seen many bad guys and found them with guns. It doesn't prevent anything. It's a felony. That's scary. That you can be thrown in prison for 5 years simply for not asking the government permission to exercise your God-given right. Because even our founding fathers said the right to keep and bear arms. They put the in there so that we knew that they acknowledged that the law existed, or the right existed, long before government was established. They didn't say this Constitution grants you the right to keep and bear arms. They're saying, hey, the people have the right to keep and bear arms. Government just can't interfere with it. And look at how many interferences and infringements do we have now. We have more people in prison for non-violent crimes than violent ones. And then we have privatized jails. And then they send you guys out to go and find these victimless crimes and arrest people because it's easier to prosecute. It's way easier to prosecute.
Look, man, I think you should do a ride along.
Okay.
I like you.
Right on.
You're a smart dude. I think your perception is one-sided, and I think you need to have our side of it as well, but I think it's an experience that you have to actually see firsthand. Okay? I think it really benefits you because you're really open-minded, and I think it would benefit your learning experience of this.
Right.
Okay? But there's a vehicle accident, so I gotta go.
Awesome.
Okay? I enjoyed talking to you.
Same here.
Thank you for being respectful to me.
Yeah.
Okay, I don't get that very often, so thank you.
All right.
And be safe. Have a good night.
You too.
Okay? Do it right along. All right?